Hi Rich, I gave some thought to the video that I was going to do today as far as your quick step muscles and what would be the best approach to looking at this. I think if we take a few basic exercises and try to reawaken your natural instincts, that would happen if you were extremely active in a way of doing a lot of jumping or reaching or climbing. We have our bodies built in a natural way to form a corset around our spine and to organize our bodies when we're doing certain activities. But because our lifestyle is more sedentary until people start dancing or doing some other athletics, those things can easily go by the wayside. So if I'm not doing anything where I would be jumping normally, then I might have lost this natural instinct in my muscles to squeeze the core or to thin out here to establish a firmness in the spine. Now, we're not supposed to be doing a lot of jumping in quick step. Most of the actions are skipping actions. And when we say a step hop is a skipping action. It's not an artificial step, jump, or something like that. So it is a natural skipping motion. But in doing that, your body needs to acquire that sort of firmness and support that you would have if you were jumping, as we might do in ballet class or if we're doing certain sports where those muscles will contract. So we need to train them so that this becomes instinctive when you're dancing. In general, because of the speed of the quick step, we need a little bit more firm tone through our body, but we don't want it to be stiff. So the muscles that are closer to the bones, or the skeletal muscles, are muscles that you don't necessarily always feel, but they will react when you use more superficial muscles into a functional movement. A functional movement, of course, would be the jumping or skipping or running, where your body needs to acquire a little bit more tone. So we'll do a few things here. First, we'll start with just raising up and down, which you do in many of the dances, but we're going to develop that from pressing up a little plie to just doing a light, tiny little jump, so that you can feel, first of all, when you're going slow, you can actually do this without engaging the right muscles. You can keep the legs loose, you can keep the heels apart, keep all this loose. So you have to concentrate and activate the muscles. So I'm going to squeeze the pelvic floor muscles. I'm going to try to feel the inside muscles of my thighs closing up, and I'm going to pull my navel towards my backbone, but I'm also going to feel as though someone has a belt there, that they're pulling my spine up and back. So we're going slow. I'm actually concentrating on engaging the core muscles and using the pelvic floor muscles. So in addition to pressing up through my feet, I'm aware that my calves are contracting, the pelvic floor muscles are squeezing together, and I'm going to feel as though I'm at the bottom of the pool and I'm giving myself a little push to send my head up to the top and my shoulders down. So that will serve you very well, just that exercise for the waltz and foxtrot as well. Trying to get the feeling that the body is organized, that I'm pressing into the floor, I'm feeling all that tone, and I'm feeling my head moving away from the pelvis and with the shoulders down. It's very easy for the arms to want to go up and down with the body. Now, we're not going to do a big jump, although you could do a big jump if you want to really work a little bit more on that controlling, lowering through your feet. But we're not going to do heavy jumping in quick step. We're going to do those light running actions or little skipping actions. So just do a few plie or bend up to the releve down, and then just do a little jump. We'll take a moment without the jump just to do this motion through the feet. Now, I'm not going to be picking up my knees that high in quick step, but what I'm doing there is training the reaction of the foot to push away from the floor with the toes pointing downward. And I'll do that with both feet. Hi, sweetie. Just roll through the foot and then come down from the toes through the ball of the foot, so that you're not doing any of your skips with a hooked foot. We see sometimes some very ugly looking feet and leg lines. Some people do a step hop and they put their leg behind them and they hook their foot. We're going to hook their foot here, or they'll be lifting their knees. It's just a very soft, reactive motion, but you want all the time this feeling that your feet have a nice springy feeling in them, and you've trained them to go from flat to the ball to the toe, and then coming down the same way. So you're just coming off the floor. You're using the floor. So you can just do that one foot at a time. Now the other thing that I added to this the other day, because you were standing a little bit too far back. Of course, everybody has different issues with the way they're carrying their upper body, and when the body is rounded, you may be trying to keep this open and up by leaning back. What we do again is have to find the muscles that press out the thoracic spine and the core muscles here to keep the belly back in order to find that position rather than trying to lean back into it. So I can take my weight forward in relation to my feet. That would be my poise, but remain upright with the chest in the proper position and not have to go here. Now, Bill Irvin used to always talk about the distance here between the belly button and the sternum, that mustn't change, because the moment that changes, you're out of balance and back weighted. I think in reality, maybe it does change some, or it feels as though it does, when we pull the belly button back, or we try to elongate the belly button away from the sternum in the stride. But the problem is when this area starts to rock and lift and push the ribs towards the girl, or push the shoulders back. So if you find that as good a position as you can with your back. Now some people stand this way and they need to go the opposite. They need to learn to soften their back a little bit more. So it just depends on which problem we're starting with. So we'll get into as good a position as we can to get that roundness out of the back, but then feel that you can carry your weight forward, rock back and forth in your feet. And then as you spring the foot away from the floor, you'll feel the engagement of your belly back. Now I'm doing it a little bit exaggerated so you can see it. So I don't want to keep this in this rigid position and try to, even just in this exercise, again, I'm not doing a quick step, I'm just doing this little foot action. But I want to feel that connection of my core and lower spine to this nice, light working of the feet. And that will help you to have this sort of forward poise in a way that's eager, in a way that's bright, and takes you into the movement without you falling forward from the hips or leaning forward from the top. It's just this feeling as though someone is pulling you here and keeping your belly button back. And that helps the lightness in this little light pickup of the knees. As I said, you're not really picking the knees up, you're just having a bounced reaction off of the floor. So let's just go through those again. Little plie or slight bend, and then pressing up through the feet, engaging the core, the back of the legs. When you come down, don't settle back there. Come down, put the heels on the floor. There's going to be a slight adjustment of the weight, but not something like that. Carry that on then into this little springing action, engaging the belly. You can put your frame up. And then we're just going to do a little jump and just try to feel it going through the feet and not jumping up through your shoulders. You're trying to use the seat muscles. You're trying to feel the spine lengthening as you do that. Then again, you can just practice skipping around the room, not lifting the feet up in front of you, not putting the leg behind you, but just trying to find that natural skipping action that you had when you were a kid, and pay attention to not hooking the foot. The same things hold true when you're doing your little coupes or little pendulums. Just trying to keep that nice light feeling in my feet and keeping the core organized. So we talked about this a few weeks ago when the knees hurt or the back hurts. A lot of times it's because you don't have enough tone. So the other thing I'm doing is feeling a co-contraction in my leg muscles, that my quads and hamstrings are working equally to resist going down too low and letting weight drop into the joints. So you don't want your upper body dropping weight into your joints. You don't want your legs dropping weight into your knees. So there's a resistance. So that would be the next exercise we might do, is just pressing down with the foot and then resisting the leg muscle. Right, so not letting the leg collapse, but just really trying to have good quality by doing it very slowly. So those are a few exercises you can do in between. When you start dancing more of these advanced figures in Quickstep, you don't have time to be thinking about your core muscles and this, that, and the other thing. Things are coming at you fast. So you have to have the muscles trained, and you have to have them in such a reactive state that they're going to do the right thing for you when you need them. So this is something that develops over time. Do those warm-up exercises before you dance, and do that on a steady basis, and you'll find that it starts to become very natural.